Hello and welcome to another pattern recognition video. So today I have some intermediate puzzles. They'll all be random, kind of like a normal chess game. So I'll try and do at least 10 puzzles. Pause at any time if you need to think longer. All right, what is happening in this puzzle? Well, it looks like this pawn is just pushed forward and it's starting to head towards the promotion square, but we have a rook behind the passed pawn, which is usually a good place for rooks to help stop that pawn from promoting or to help push your own pawns that are trying to promote. So what do we do here? We also have our own pawn here. So, we'll have to take a look at this. If we take their pawn, if the knight were to recapture, so if we capture here, knight captures, well then our pawn can start pushing. What if we capture? Well, maybe that still works because if they capture, well then we can just capture their knight and we'll be winning with the extra rook. So what we have to figure out is if we take here and they take and we start pushing this pawn, will they be able to stop us? So capture, pawn pushes forward, maybe the knight comes back up here, we push further, there is a check here, and then what? We have to really be careful then. I think we can just move our king and then promote. So what if we take and they check immediately? Remember, you definitely want to look for checks, captures, and threats in your normal games, but in these puzzles, you definitely want to look at the checks just to make sure there's no surprises. So if we take the pawn and they check us immediately, what do we do then? We could start pushing, but I don't know. I think it'll be hard for them to stop our passed pawn. And we still have that extra rook. So I'm thinking we can take... Oh, they don't like that. So I guess we need to push the pawn first. And now we have the fork. So if we go there and they take, now we can promote. Oh, and we promote with check as well. All right. Well, that one was a little tricky. I hope you did well on that. These are rated 1200 to 1800 for intermediate players. This one was 1650. On to puzzle number 2. I'll try and do 10 of these. Okay, we just have a bishop positioning itself here, attacking our queen and our rook as well, a fork, and it's protected by our queen. Okay, so there's also a threat of them going after our rook. So we could take their queen, and that's kind of an obvious move. But then they'll take ours. All right. And we have to make sure that this check is not going to mess us up as well. We could probably block. All right. The obvious move is to take the queen. And I guess we could even if we wanted to get an extra pawn, we could take this pawn with check, then go after their queen. So that's a possibility as well. All right, let's look at the material though. We have 2 minor pieces and a queen. We do have the extra rook versus their bishop, but we only have 2 pawns. They have 6, so we're down by what? The equivalent of 2 pawns, because we have that extra rook versus their bishop. So what do we do here? Even if we take this pawn with check and they capture, then we grab the queen, we'll be down by 1 pawn. Then what can we do? Oh, maybe we go for more here. What if we take here? If we take the knight, if they capture a rook, then our queen can move up here for a back rank mate. The only thing they can do is block with the bishop, then we take that. So if they take our queen with the pawn, well, then we can take their queen and pin their bishop to the king. I think that's the way to go. All right, now their bishop is just pinned here as well, and we'll pick that up next. All right, on to puzzle number 3. I hope you're doing well with these puzzles and also having a great day. Let's see here. What is happening in this position? Well, the queen has moved over. That way, if we try to threaten something like taking, knight takes, rook takes, well, then there's a back rank mate possibility. But looks like we have something else possible. A direct attack on the king. So how would you go about doing that? All right, pause if you need more time. If not, we can't go here because of this bishop. You always have to watch out for those bishops on the other side of the board so you don't forget about them. Okay, so what if we check with the queen? The only thing possible, remember, when a king is in check is to capture, block, or run. And sometimes you can't even have a choice of all 3 of those. You can only do 1 or 2. So, or none, then it's a checkmate. Okay, we have a check here. The only thing they can do is block with the queen, but then we can take the rook with check. They'll have to block with their queen, and then we can take with a mate. So, check, check. And the only thing they can do now is block with the queen, and we can take, and it'll be a mate because of our rook here. All right, on to puzzle number 4. We just had a rook centralizing, targeting our knight along with this queen. But it is protected by the pawn at the moment. So that's good. What do we want to do here? Oh, okay. A little tricky fork problem here, so hopefully you figured it out. Anytime you have a knight on your side of the board, that's your opponent's knight, or you place one of your knights on their side of the board, you always have to be aware, look for fork possibilities. So here, it looks like we can, pause if you want to calculate it out further, but if you're ready, looks like we can take the bishop. If the queen captures, well, then we can fork the king and grab the queen. So there we go. And then we pick off the queen. And now we're just ahead in material. Okay, on to puzzle number 5. The rook is stepped forward with a fork, attacking both of these pieces at once. So that looks problematic for us. All right. Well, what can we do here? All right, we have pressure on this bishop. Do we try something like that with a check? The rook can't capture, or we just grab the bishop, and then that would give us time to save our knight. But do we have anything better? Let's see. Is there anything more forcing? I don't know. That's pretty forcing. We deliver a check. If they try to take, well, then we grab their bishop with check. They have to block with their rook. We can just take and then save our knight. Is that enough, though? Is that enough? So let's look at that. Capture. If they capture, we can capture with check. They have to block. And then we can take the rook. If the king captures, then we can jump our knight up, forking the king and the rook. So let's see if that works. And they don't even fall for that. So now, we can fork anyway. So it looks like we can still get a fork out of this. All right, make sure there's nothing tricky here. The only thing I'm worried about is if we just fork immediately, what if they move here, attacking? Well, then we can just take. All right, so we jump in there. Now, that's an interesting move. But I think we can just still capture. So we can still just capture that way. All right, now we just take the rook. So then once they capture, we'll have a rook for their knight, and that should be enough to win. All right, we're halfway there, on to puzzle number 6. Here we go. We just had a capture. Our queen is under attack. What do we want to do here? Let's take a look. Now our knight is pinned to our queen. Our queen is under attack. So we have to move our queen probably. We can just go ahead. We have this pin as well. So it looks like we can just take their knight with our queen. Then we'll go up ahead in material. So capture and capture. All right. Well, I hope you found that one. That one was rated 1210. On to puzzle number 7. Queen is what? Just captured here, threatening our knight. Oh, and then once it captures the knight, our king will be in check. What is our king doing way out in the center like that? Well, to the side of the board, but way out there. Okay. Um, I guess. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Our king could get in trouble here. Mm, wow. Probably need to move our knight, but where's the best place to go? I mean, I guess we could just take their bishop if their king captures. Then what do we do? But we need to look out for checks. Their queen can start checking our king all over the place. That can be quite dangerous. And I guess we'll be able to maybe. Oh man, also there's this move, capturing the pawn, checking, forking our king and this rook. So that's not looking too good. Okay, let's look at checks first. Is there anything crazy that we can do? I mean, we can capture this pawn, but then our queen will be captured. That's the only check that I see. Wow. Man, yeah, we are just in trouble here. Hmm. Yeah, this is looking pretty terrible. Okay, I hope you're doing better than I am on this one. I'm not sure what to do here. Okay, let's look at checks first. We can take the knight with check. We could go here with check. Take this pawn with check. And I just don't see a good follow-up after these checks. Oh, okay. Hold on. We have this other check. I forgot about the knight guarding this square. So, if we go there, check. The king can't capture or block. The king would only be able to go here. Then, what do we do? Oh, then we could take this bishop, and their bishop could block, or the king could run. Then we could take the knight, and our knight will be guarded. All right, but we still have this problem where they can capture this pawn, forking our rook and our king. So that's probably the best way to go, is to go here. The king would have to run. We could capture the bishop with check. They could block, but then our knight could check the king. Oh, I don't know. This is getting tricky. So we go here. They go there. We take their bishop with check. They can either block with their bishop or run. Let's say they block with the bishop. Well, then how do we continue? We can check with our knight up here. All right, let's get on with it. So check. We're going to go here. Okay, the king just decides to keep running. So now we can take their knight and protect our bishop. But, oh, and no, they still have that fork. So do we have anything better? Any checking moves? I don't see anything. Probably best to just grab this piece, but if we take that, they could go here as well. And if we run, the pawn could move with a check. Oh, wow. Okay, let's look at the material. All right, yeah, this is not looking too good here. What if we go here and line up on their king and attack their queen? Well, then they could still go here, attacking our king. Our king could run, they grab our rook. Or, wait a minute, we block with our knight with a discovered check. Okay, there's a lot going on, but I'm going to go for this move. No, they don't want that, so they probably just want me to take that. But now, I don't know, this looks super dangerous here. Where do we go? If we move here, the pawn can push forward with a discovered attack. And I don't know, that's looking dangerous. Maybe we go... the queen can also go there, protected by the bishop. Man, there is a lot going on here. Maybe we go towards the center? No, they can take this. Oh, but then we could block with the knight. Man, I don't know. That looks really dangerous. What do we do? Yeah, this is just a tough one. If we go there, they could just start harassing us. But no, I think they would push that pawn with the discovered attack here. All right, let's try it. That's what they want. I don't know. It still looks like there's a lot of chasing the white king left in this game. They could push forward with the discovered attack. Then what? Oh, well, because that pawn would be blocking, then we could just move up here, I guess. And we also have this attack on their king coming. All right, that was a crazy one. I hope you did okay on that one. On to puzzle number 8. Let's see what's happening here. The queen has just centralized, helping to guard this knight, which is under attack by our knight and a bishop. So, what do we have here? Okay. Well, the queen just moved here. Do we have any good checks? I don't see any checks possible against the opponent's king. captures. Do they have anything unprotected? This pawn is unprotected. Their queen is unprotected. And that's it. So, do we go after the queen somehow? We can't really do that. Now, what about attacks? So you want to look at checks, then captures, especially if something's unprotected, then captures where they are protected. So maybe if we go after this pawn with our knight, the queen could capture. Oh, but then they have this capture with a check. So, man, what can we do there? Well, if we capture their knight, their pawn captures, then our bishop is under attack. You know, do we have any attacks? It'd be nice if we could move the bishop here and line it up on their queen and rook. So maybe we threaten that. And this pawn is under attack. So maybe we push forward, but then they could just stop that, I guess, by pushing that. So something more forcing. If we go there immediately and their queen captures, well, then what do we do? All right. Wow, I'm just not seeing anything too good here. What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? What if we take with the bishop first? Then they go here. Oh, then we can fork. We can push this pawn forking. Okay. There we go. So sometimes those pawn moves are hard to see. We go there, then we push forward and grab the knight. All right. Well, I hope you were able to find that one more quickly than I did. That one was a little tricky, I thought. But it was only rated 1370, so maybe I should not have overlooked that one like I did. But sometimes you have puzzles that give you problems, and those might be the ones that you want to go over more often or find more puzzles like that to look at. All right, on to puzzle number 9. We just had a capture. What do we have going on here? Wow, this pawn is way up the board. They have this pair of pawns here. Now there's a threat of pushing forward here with the discovered check, and we would just be losing. So how can we stop that? How about we trade queens? Unless we have something better, I don't see. So we go here. King has to move. We take the queens. Their king recaptures, ends up here. Then we have time to capture. And if this pawn moves, we can get behind it with our rook. Wow, okay, tricky stuff here. Is there anything better? Any kind of forking move? If we go here, the king has to move. If the king goes, to here or here, well, then we could take, it's probably better to trade the queens. So here we go. If we trade queens, well, now we have a check. Oh, wow. All right, maybe that is something even better. Let's see. If we go here, we check. The king can move here. We might be able to get their queen. So we go there. Now we check again. Grab their queen with check. You know, they're probably going to go here or maybe here to guard this pawn. But then our queen ought to be able to maneuver in there and stop any threats with that. And then maybe threaten to push this forward. Anyway, we should be winning. All right, the final puzzle. Puzzle number 10. Here we go. Queen has just stepped forward. And that appears to be a big mistake. See if you can figure out why. All right, pause if you need more time. If not, here we go. We have a back rank mate possibility anytime these pawns are blocking the king from coming forward. You always want to keep an eye out for back rank mates. So we have this rook here that can deliver check. It appears that there aren't any problems because this rook can block. But if we take and their queen takes, well then our knight can jump up here with a fork, forking the king and the queen. So check, capture, fork, we grab the queen, and now we have this extra rook down here. We should easily be winning. Okay, that was 10 puzzles for today. I hope you did well on those. Feel free to leave any comments, any requests for something you'd like to see in future videos. Like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.